The alien woman apologized for her past. He replied with kindness. The diplomat and the warrior. Liam Kovacs adjusted his environment suit's collar as he stepped from the shuttle onto the crystalline surface of Nevera. The atmosphere, while technically breathable for humans, contained trace elements that caused a slight burning sensation in his throat. Nothing deadly, but uncomfortable enough that most humans opted for filtered air during their first weeks on the planet. "Welcome to Starport Lumina, Ambassador," said the robotic escort, its voice pleasantly modulated. "The High Council awaits your arrival at the Celestial Chamber. May I guide you there directly?" Liam shook his head. "I'd like to walk through the marketplace first. Best way to understand a culture is to see how its people trade and interact." The robot's photoreceptors flickered. The marketplace district is not recommended for newcomers without proper orientation. Never-end customs can be intricate. "That's precisely why I need to experience them," Liam replied with a smile that hid his nervousness. After 15 years in the diplomatic corps, he knew that formal meetings rarely revealed a planet's true nature. The marketplace sprawled across several floating platforms connected by shimmering bridges of pure energy. Nevarans glided between stalls with an almost liquid grace, their iridescent skin catching the light of the twin suns overhead. They were humanoid, but taller and more slender than the average human, with elongated limbs and faces that seemed carved from living opal. Liam attracted curious glances as he wandered through the market. Humans weren't completely unknown on Nevera, but they were rare enough to draw attention. He paused at a stall selling what appeared to be musical instruments, delicate crystalline structures that emitted haunting tones when the wind passed through them. "These are beautiful," he said to the vendor, an elderly Nevaran whose skin had faded to a soft pearl luster. The vendor's multifaceted eyes widened slightly. "You have an appreciation for the song harps. Most off-worlders find them dissonant." "My grandfather was a composer," Liam explained, carefully lifting one of the smaller harps. "He taught me that true harmony often lies in understanding unfamiliar patterns." A hint of a smile crossed the vendor's face, but before they could respond, a sharp voice cut through the ambient noise of the marketplace. "You won't last a day here, human." Liam turned slowly, maintaining his diplomatic composure despite the clear hostility in the words. A female Nevaran stood behind him, her skin pulsing with deep violet undertones, a sign of strong emotion, according to his briefings. Unlike many of her kind who preferred flowing garments, she wore a fitted combat suit lined with crystalline plates that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. He inclined his head in what he hoped was a respectful greeting. "I appreciate your concern, but I'm actually planning to stay for several weeks. I'm the new human ambassador." "Ambassador," she repeated, her tone making the word sound like a slur. "Come to make promises your kind will break at the first opportunity." The marketplace had grown quieter, traders and customers alike turning to watch the confrontation. Liam was acutely aware that his response would set the tone for his entire mission. "I've come to listen," he said simply, "and to understand. If past promises were broken, that's all the more reason for renewed dialogue, don't you think?" The warrior, for she was clearly military, based on the insignia etched into her armor, narrowed her eyes. Her right hand moved to rest on what Liam recognized as a pulse weapon holstered at her hip. "You humans think you can solve everything with words," she said. "While your corporations strip mine our outer moons and your military builds outposts just beyond our sensor range." Liam didn't flinch. "If that's happening, then it's against diplomatic council directives and I want to know about it. That's why I'm here, not to defend what's indefensible but to find the truth." His response seemed to catch her off guard. The violet pulses in her skin slowed slightly. "You expect me to believe you don't know what your own people are doing." Before Liam could answer, the elder vendor spoke up. "Thea Zix, you dishonor the marketplace with threats against an official guest, Has General Vex authorized this? Welcome. The warrior, Thea, shifted her stance slightly. The general doesn't need to authorize me to speak truth to those who would harm Nevera. No harm intended, Liam said, maintaining calm. Only genuine interest. He gestured to the song harp he'd been examining. I was just admiring this craftwork. We have nothing like this on Earth or our colonies. So you can take it back and replicate it, Thea challenged. So I can appreciate it, Liam corrected. Not everything needs to be possessed or replicated to be valued. A small crowd had gathered now, watching the exchange with interest. Liam could sense the tension in the air. This wasn't just about him and this warrior. It was about the relationship between their peoples. If you truly wish to understand Nevera, Thea said, her voice lowering, then walk with me instead of hiding behind diplomatic pleasantries. It was clearly a challenge, possibly even a trap. His security briefing had specifically advised against accepting impromptu invitations from Nevarans not cleared by the High Council. But diplomacy wasn't built in secure chambers alone. I would be honored, Liam said, though I should inform my escort of the change in plans. Thea made a dismissive gesture. Your mechanical babysitter can report to the council that you're receiving a more authentic orientation. The vendor looked concerned. Ambassador, perhaps another day would be better. Another day would be the same, Thea interrupted. Better he sees Nevera through clear eyes than the filtered view the council will provide. Liam nodded to the vendor. Thank you for your concern, but I believe understanding comes from exposure to different perspectives. I'll return to look at your song harps again if I may. The elder Neveran nodded reluctantly, their eyes darting between Liam and Thea with undisguised worry. As they walked away from the stall, Liam sent a quick sub-vocalized message through his comm unit, informing his team of his change in plans. If this was a trap, at least they'd know where to start looking for him. Why did you really come here, human? Thea asked as they crossed one of the energy bridges connecting the market platforms. Below them, Nevera's famous crystal forest stretched to the horizon, catching and fracturing the sunlight into thousands of rainbow patterns. My name is Liam, he said, and I came because Earth wants stable relations with Nevera. Your crystalline technology advances could benefit both our worlds. So it is about taking, she said. It's about exchange, he corrected. Earth has agricultural technologies that could help with your world's food shortages. We've developed methods to grow crops in crystalline environments similar to yours. Thea stopped walking, her skin pulsing with surprise. You know about the shortages. That information isn't shared with outsiders. Liam shrugged. I do my research. It's my job to understand the real needs of the worlds I visit, not just the official positions. Before Thea could respond, a commotion erupted on the platform ahead. A group of young Nevarans were surrounding what appeared to be a human trader, their postures aggressive. Looks like I'm not the only one getting a special welcome, Liam murmured. Thea's expression hardened. Stay here. Those are crystalline path zealots. They believe all off-worlders dilute our culture. But Liam was already moving forward. Then this is exactly what I need to see. The human trader was backed against a market stall, clutching a case protectively to his chest. One of the Nevarans held a crystal shard that hummed with dangerous energy. Return what you've stolen and leave, the leader of the group was saying. I paid for these samples, the trader protested. Ask Merchant Velix, everything was authorized. Liam stepped into the circle, hands raised in a universal gesture of peace. Perhaps I can help resolve this misunderstanding. The Nevaran youths turned toward him, surprise momentarily replacing their anger. Another human, the leader spat, come to defend your thieving kind. I've come to understand, Liam said calmly. What exactly is the issue here? He purchased crystal shards from a reputable merchant, Thea said, appearing at Liam's side. Her presence caused the youths to step back slightly. Despite her own hostility toward Liam, it seemed she commanded respect among her people. If there's a dispute, it should be brought before the trade arbiters, not resolved with threats. These aren't just any crystals, the leader insisted. They're resonance shards from the ancient groves, sacred, not for export. Liam turned to the trader. Is this true? Did you purchase resonance shards? The man looked confused. I don't know. I was told they were standard communication crystals. My buyer wants them for research. Thea held out her hand. May I? After a moment's hesitation, the trader opened his case. Inside lay a dozen small crystals, each pulsing with a soft blue light. Thea's skin darkened. These are indeed resonance shards. They're linked to our ancestral communication network. In the wrong hands, they could be used to intercept secure Nevarin transmissions. The revelation hung in the air. What had seemed like xenophobic harassment now appeared to be something more complicated. I had no idea, the trader said, his face pale. I was just filling an order. Who placed this order? Liam asked, his diplomatic instincts on high alert. This wasn't just a cultural misunderstanding. It had the potential to become a serious security incident. Before the trader could answer, the crystals in the case began to pulse more rapidly, their light intensifying. They're being activated remotely, Thea said, alarm evident in her voice. Everyone back. Liam didn't hesitate. He slammed the case shut and pressed the emergency containment button on his environment suit. A shimmering field enveloped both him and the case just as the crystals reached peak luminescence. The resulting energy pulse was contained within the field, but the effort overwhelmed his suit's systems. Liam felt a searing pain as feedback surged through the neural interface, and then darkness claimed him. Bridges between worlds. Liam woke to the sound of crystalline chimes. His head throbbed with each delicate note, and his skin felt raw as though he'd been sunburned. He blinked, trying to bring his surroundings into focus. Instead of the sterile recovery room he expected, he found himself in what appeared to be a private dwelling. Crystal walls rose around him, their surfaces etched with intricate patterns that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. The resonance poisoning should fade by tomorrow, a familiar voice said. Liam turned his head too quickly, sending a fresh wave of pain through his temples, and saw Thea standing in the doorway. Gone was her combat armor, replaced by a simple tunic of what appeared to be woven crystal fibers. Her skin had a calmer hue now, a soft blue that reminded him of Earth's oceans. "Where am I?" he asked, his voice raspy. "My home," she replied, approaching with a small container filled with shimmering liquid. "The medical center wanted to put you in quarantine. I convinced them you'd recover better with proper care." Liam tried to sit up but found his muscles uncooperative. The trader, the crystals. The trader is being questioned by security forces. The crystals were neutralized thanks to your containment field. She paused, studying him with those multifaceted eyes. That was unexpected. You could have escaped alone. The field would have protected you without the extra weight. Liam managed a weak smile. And let those crystals harm everyone in the marketplace. That wouldn't have made for a very good first day as ambassador. Thea sat on the edge of the platform that served as his bed. "You continue to confuse me, Liam Kovacs. I expected arrogance, calculation, perhaps even deceit. Instead, you show compassion and sacrifice." "Sorry to disappoint," he murmured. To his surprise, her skin rippled with what he recognized from his briefings as the Nevarin equivalent of laughter, quick pulses of light traveling from head to toe. "I owe you an apology," she said, the words clearly difficult for her. "I judged you by the actions of others. It was unfair." "Apology accepted," Liam said without hesitation, "though I'm curious what experiences led to such a negative view of humans." Thea's expression darkened. 3 cycles ago, A human mining corporation claimed to discover rare minerals in our outer territories. They promised technology, medical advancements, educational exchanges. What they delivered was environmental devastation and broken commitments. Horizon Minerals, Liam said, nodding. Their contract was revoked by the Earth Alliance 2 years ago after evidence of environmental violations came to light. Thea looked genuinely surprised. You know of this? As I said, I do my research. Horizon's actions violated not only Neveran Trust but Earth's own regulations. Their executives faced criminal charges. He paused. Though I understand that doesn't undo the damage they caused. No, Thea agreed, it doesn't. She handed him the container. Drink this. It will help flush the crystal resonance from your system. The liquid had the consistency of honey but tasted like mint, and something else he couldn't identify, slightly metallic but not unpleasant. Almost immediately, the pounding in his head began to subside. Thank you, he said, returning the empty container. Not just for this, but for bringing me here instead of leaving me at the medical center. Thea's skin flushed slightly. It was the honorable thing to do. You were injured protecting my people. A comfortable silence fell between them. Liam took the opportunity to study the room more carefully. Unlike human dwellings with their emphasis on comfort and decoration, Thea's home seemed designed to enhance the natural beauty of the materials themselves. Light played through crystal panels, creating ever-changing patterns across the floor. Your home is beautiful, he said sincerely. It has been in my family for 7 generations, Thea replied. The crystals have absorbed memories, emotions. Some Nevarans believe our dwellings develop a form of consciousness over time. And what do you believe? She considered the question. I believe there is more to the universe than we can measure or quantify. Perhaps that makes me less of a warrior and more of a philosopher than my colleagues would prefer. Why did you join the military? Liam asked, genuinely curious. To protect what matters, she answered simply. My people, our way of life, our connection to the crystals. She hesitated, then added, my father served in the Crystalline Guard. He died during the Horizon incident, trying to prevent them from blasting in a sacred grove. Understanding dawned on Liam. That's why your reaction to me was so personal. Thea nodded. It's not an excuse for my behavior, but perhaps an explanation. No explanation needed, Liam said. In your position, I might have reacted the same way. Before Thea could respond, a chime sounded through the dwelling, the Nevaran equivalent of a communication alert. She rose gracefully and placed her hand against a crystal panel. It illuminated at her touch, and a 3-dimensional image appeared, another Nevaran in full military regalia. Commander Thea, the figure said, its tone formal. The Council requests your presence. The human diplomat's security team is insistent on knowing his whereabouts. Inform them that Ambassador Kovacs is recovering under my protection, Thea replied. We will attend the council together once he is able. The figure seemed surprised but nodded. Understood, Commander. The council session begins in 3 hours. After the communication ended, Liam managed to sit up, the medicine having restored some of his strength. Commander, you didn't mention your rank. Thea's skin flickered with what might have been embarrassment. It didn't seem relevant to our initial discussion. And now you're going to be late for an important council meeting because of me, Liam said. I appreciate your care, but I can rejoin my team if you need to attend. The council can wait, Thea said firmly. Besides, I think you and I have much to discuss before we face them together. Over the next 2 hours, as Liam regained his strength, they talked, really talked, in a way that diplomatic protocols and formal meetings rarely allowed. Thea explained the deep spiritual connection between Nevarans and their crystalline world, how the resonance between crystals mirrored the connections between people, families, communities. In turn, Liam shared stories of Earth's struggles to balance technological advancement with environmental preservation, and how those struggles had shaped humanity's approach to interplanetary relations, sometimes wisely, sometimes disastrously. Your people have made many mistakes, Thea observed. As have all sentient species, Liam replied. The question is whether we learn from them. When it was time to leave for the council meeting, Liam found himself reluctant to end their conversation. Something had changed between them. A bridge formed where before there had been only suspicion. The celestial chamber lived up to its name. Its domed ceiling was composed of thousands of transparent crystal panels that revealed Nevara's sky, now darkening as the twin suns set. The council members, 12 elder Nevarans, sat in a semicircle on elevated platforms. Liam's security team rushed to him as soon as he entered, their relief evident. His chief of security, Naomi Wells, shot a suspicious glance at Thea. "Ambassador, we've been concerned," she said. "Are you well?" "Better than expected, thanks to Commander Thea," Liam replied, emphasizing her title. "She's been an excellent representative of Nevaran hospitality." Naomi didn't look convinced, but before she could say more, the council session was called to order. The lead counselor, an ancient Nevaran whose skin had faded almost to transparency, spoke first. "Ambassador Kovacs, we understand you experienced an incident in the marketplace. On behalf of the High Council, I express our deepest regrets." "No regrets necessary, Counselor," Liam said. "Cultural exchange sometimes involves unexpected challenges. I consider the experience educational." A murmur ran through the council. Clearly, this was not the response they had anticipated. "Nevertheless," the counselor continued, "we are troubled by the presence of resonance shards in the hands of an off-worlder. Our preliminary investigation suggests a serious security breach." "If I may speak," Thea said, stepping forward. Protocol dictated that military commanders rarely address the council directly, but no one stopped her. The human traitor appears to have been an unwitting participant. The true concern is who supplied these shards and why they were remotely activated in a public space. "Indeed," another counselor agreed. "Our security forces have traced the activation signal to a location within the governmental district." The implication hung in the air. Someone with access to secure areas was involved, possibly someone in the room. Liam exchanged a glance with Thea. This was no longer about cultural misunderstandings. It was about a potential sabotage attempt that could derail not just his mission, but the fragile peace between their worlds. "Counselors," Liam said, "I propose that Commander Thea and I lead a joint investigation into this matter. As today's events demonstrated, we are stronger working together than at odds." The lead counselor's eyes narrowed. "An unusual request, Ambassador. Why should we entrust such a sensitive matter to collaboration?" "Because," Thea interjected, "whoever is behind this wants to prevent exactly that, collaboration between our peoples. They activated those crystals when Ambassador Kovacs was present, creating a situation that could have been interpreted as a human attack or never an aggression, depending on the outcome." "Commander Thea's analysis matches my own," Liam added. "Someone wants to ensure these peace talks fail before they begin." The council members conferred among themselves in low tones. Finally, the lead counselor spoke. "Your proposal has merit. Commander Thea will be temporarily reassigned to liaison with the Earth diplomatic mission. You will have 3 days to investigate before we must proceed with formal treaty discussions." As the session concluded, Liam and Thea found themselves alone in a side chamber, planning their next steps. "3 days isn't much time," Liam observed. "No," Thea agreed, "especially since we'll need to be careful who we trust if the signal came from the governmental district.